Hello and welcome back to Palenque, Mexico. If you've seen my previous videos about Palenque, you will know that Palenque is a pueblo mágico in the town of the middle of the state of Chiapas in the south of Mexico. Due to the discovery of King Pakal and his jade mask, Palenque is one of the most popular Mayan sites out there. So many people have visited Palenque. There's lots of videos out there that talk about the ruins of Palenque. This is just an informal video of our second trip to Palenque. My dad and I had even debated on it if we wanted to even go to Palenque, but we had some time and we knew the route really well, so we decided we were going to do it the cheap way. It's pretty easy to get to the archaeological site of Palenque from the town of Palenque. There is a dozen of these little vans that go through the town saying Ruinas. Just jump on any one of the vans that say Ruinas, and for about 20 pesos you will be at the ruins in no time. The van is also nice because it made a stop at the ticket booth and then at the main entrance, which is where we start this adventure. Well, I have my bracelet here that I paid 110 pesos for, and then I paid another 90 pesos to get in. And we are back here in Palenque, one of the old capitals of the Mayan world, and we're gonna go check out these ruins here in the jungles of Palenque, which is named after the city that we've been staying in for the last 3 days. My dad's with me today. He got in for free because he has his senior citizen card with him.
Ready to go.
So if you have a Mexican senior citizen card, it's included. If not, the cost is about 200 pesos, which is a little bit over $10 after it's all said and done. So we are here in the beginning area of Palenque. All these are tombs right here. The most important two tombs are over here to the left. This one in front of us with the brand new construction is the tomb of the Red Queen. The Red Queen was the conservator of King Pakal, and King Pakal was the most famous of all the kings here. He is in the larger tomb over there to the left. He was discovered in the center of the pyramid, and it looks like he made this other tomb over here to his mother. And so they just opened this one. Hopefully in 15 days they're going to open public. There have been some public viewings. I'm hoping one of these days that we'll get to go inside. But it's pretty cool. And then over there in the bigger tomb is the tomb of King Pakal. This is the tomb of Alberto Ruiz Tomb, who was an archaeologist who helped research this area. He died in 1979, and his last wish was to be buried here in Palenque, and so that's what they did. They buried him here right by the room of King Pakal. One of the things that's interesting about Palenque is they had plumbing here. One of the few Mayan sites, and you can see the pyramids, like that's the king's palace there. They're built right on top of the river, and the river still flows today. Today it's flowing pretty fast because of the rains. From here you can still see some of the hieroglyphs. I zoom in here, you can see them a little bit better. All the different caverns and rooms. Very interesting. Offering table there. Be prepared to walk many steps going up into Palenque. We're going up into the second section where some of the older temples are. And now we're going up these steps here. This is the Temple of the Cross. They call it the Temple of the Cross because up at the top there's a cross-like symbol up there. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to climb up to the top. Over here is the Ceiba, but we'll go check that one out. That one's open. Then after that, we'll go to the Sun Temple. We are here in front of the cross pyramid. Unfortunately, we're not allowed to climb to the top of this one, but if we did, we'd find some symbols there that are very interesting. They have cross-like symbols. That's why it's called the Temple of the Cross. You can also see behind me the triangle pattern. This triangle pattern is very important to Mayan architecture because it allowed them to build bigger rooms. So this is kind of a late period building for the Mayans. Okay, we're gonna go start our hike up to the Temple of the Ceiba with the honeycomb dome on top. Here we are in the Temple of the Ceiba, and you can see them on the lintels and on the top there. And over here you have a young king warrior, and then here he's older, I guess. Very interesting, the old wise man, and then a bunch of hieroglyphics inside. Very interesting. The temple behind me was very important because here is where they would worship corn. And corn, of course, was their daily crop. So that's why this is a very important building where they would look for corn. But here, it's a beautiful view. We're probably at the highest point of this archaeological area here, and I'll have to take a picture on the corner so you can see the other buildings as well. On the Temple de Ceiba, the corn temple, we're overlooking right now the Temple of the Sun down below and some other smaller tombs. These tombs down below here were discovered, and they are believed to be the newest structures in the area. One thing that's common among the Mayans is that they would often come after the big cities had fallen and then bury dead in the area. So once an area was conquered, it would kind of become a cemetery. Behind me you can see the observatory and a commanding view of Palenque. You can see why this area was strategic, because it was up on a hill and therefore could be defended, and that's why Palenque had lasted so long. We are now on top of the Temple of the Sun. You can see the sun glyphic there. We're going to go up here to see the temple and see the doorway of the Temple of the Sun. Looks like in this one we're allowed to go in. You can first of all see that classic Mayan archway and the pantheon of the Mayans and all the pre-Hispanic civilizations. The sun was very important. Here, the sun is represented in the middle with its rays shining, and you have the priest there praising the sun god in the middle and giving him plenty of tributes so that he can make sure that the sun continues to go. It's very interesting that they have like this little room inside of a room. You can see Quetzalcoatl snake there, and eagles on the side. Two separate rooms for the priests on each side, which is also very interesting. That T-bar right there would have been woodwork for the Mayans, and that of course would have been meant that there would have been extra rooms in here. Of course, all this would have been painted, but you can see it's dripping. It rains pretty much every day here, so it would have been hard. But you can see the layers here, the stucco. You can even still see some blue coloring here. Very interesting how that has stayed on throughout the years. It's kind of interesting. Over here you can see where the wall fell down. That right side of the observatory fell down, and you can see it on the steps of the pyramid there up towards the... This used to be all wall on this side as well, except for an entrance. Over here is the ball court. Very typical in Mayan times was the ball game played on both sides. There's like 3 of them here in this area. We're going to this part of the forest now. I remember last time I was in this side of the forest, I ended up seeing a jaguar. Luckily, it was more scared of me than I was scared of it, so I didn't have to worry. Today, luckily, all I see are butterflies. I can hang out with butterflies all day. Jaguars, on the other hand, I'd rather avoid if all possible. Palenque today continues to be an archaeological site. A lot of construction going on. There's still a lot of restoration a lot of expansion to the area. There's always going to be new things that need to be uncovered, so that's what they're doing. Over here we have the inscriptions of the water god, very important to the Mayans here. Complex over here. Unfortunately, they don't look like they're going to allow us to go up there, which is too bad. That would have been interesting. This building is very interesting. It's kind of funny. This is called El Templo del Conde, the Count's Temple. And for 2 years, from 1832 to 1833, Count Warlick, who proclaimed many times he was from a lot of different areas, many believe he was from France, lived up here in this temple. He came in 1832 and just lived here for 2 years and was doing paintings of all the inscriptions here in Palenque. But the problem was he was kind of a storyteller, and he embellished a lot. He believed that this area was the lost city of Egypt, like a lost city of Egypt, and he portrayed in some of the illustrations that the Mayans had elephants and Egyptian tools, and that was proven to be false. But it's just an interesting story that he was even here. We'll go up and see if there's anything inside. This is what it would have looked like for Mr. Count Waldeck, his house that he stayed in for 2 years. Not much for accommodations, but it is pretty classic, and rent's cheap, and you get a really cool view from the top. This is my dad demonstrating how to properly back down off of a temple. If you notice in a lot of these videos, I'm just breathing a lot. I'm sorry, but these temples are huge. You just don't realize walking up and down these temples how much energy it takes. So sorry if it's a little bit breathy. I did tell my dad if he slipped here, I would have definitely posted it. But we might have gone viral, but he didn't fall, so it didn't go viral. But it was the proper technique of going down a temple. That would be the sound of a howler monkey. Trying to see if I can see him. I can definitely hear him. Oh, I see them back up out there. They're up here. They're doing some restoration work. I see like a mythological creature up there at the top, and a face at the very top, and a side view of maybe a princess or something. Very interesting. Well, I'm now leaving. You can see some beautiful flowers behind me, some tropical forest flowers behind me. Leaving Palenque. Hope you enjoyed the little tour of Palenque and some stories, and learned a little bit more about the Mayan civilization. It's very jungly today, but remember, back in the past this would not have been a jungle. This would have been all paved. But there we go. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you on the next video.